Hi everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Kelly D'Amico, and I'm a marketing specialist at ThreatConnect. I'm going to take a few minutes to go over some housekeeping items and the agenda, and then I'll introduce today's speaker. First, I want to let you know that everyone's phone lines are muted to keep background noise to a minimum. If you have questions, please ask them by typing them into the chat feature on your webinar console. We will answer questions at the end of the webinar. Please take advantage of the handout available on the webinar console as well. Second, the webinar is being recorded today. We will send out the recording as soon as we have it available. Now for the agenda. Today we're going to review how ThreatConnect's TC Complete can help your organization identify, manage, and block threats. We'll end with a Q&A. So now I'll introduce today's speaker. Tony Palmer is a Senior Validation Analyst at ESG. Before coming to ESG, he worked in pre-sales and technical marketing roles at networking, systems, and storage vendors, including EMC and HP. So that's it for me. And now I'll turn it over to Tony.
Thank you, Kelly. And thank you, everyone, for joining. My name is Tony Palmer, and I am an analyst with Enterprise Strategy Group. And Enterprise Strategy Group, for those of you that aren't familiar, is an integrated analyst research and validation firm. And we provide third-party testing and analysis of IT services and solutions with really two main goals in mind. One is to discover whether a product works as advertised. We look at areas like performance and scalability, usability, things like that. And two, and this is more important, we work to discover and explain why this should matter to your business. So we were engaged by ThreatConnect to take a look at the TC suite, as it were, of products and solutions, looking at TC Complete, and we also took a look at TC Identify and TC Analyze, which we'll talk about at the end of this presentation. So for this project, right, ESG evaluated the ThreatConnect Threat Intelligence Analytics and Orchestration Platform, TC Complete, and our goal was to validate how the ThreatConnect platform enables organizations to identify, manage, and block threats, as Kelly mentioned, with end-to-end detection capabilities and advanced analytics. We also looked at the ability of the platform to enable users to adapt and create automation for their existing processes to speed up incident response. First, I'm going to take a little bit of a look at the landscape based on ESG's research. And there's really a wide and increasing cybersecurity skills shortage. So 51% of organizations surveyed by ESG last year reported that they had a problematic shortage of cybersecurity skills in 2018. That's up from 45% in 2017. And honestly, in the 6 years that we've been asking this question in our research, it has risen every year. And so there's really no end in sight for this skills gap. In addition to this, research from ESG and the Information Systems Security Association reveals that 70% of cybersecurity professionals believe that the global security skills gap has impacted their organizations. And meanwhile, as you all know, the number of security incidents that businesses must investigate and respond to has grown tremendously. The proliferation of new systems and applications is creating more security incident scenarios, while better detection tools are generating more alerts. On top of all this, cyber attacks have become more sophisticated, making it really critical for IT staff to ensure that they stay a few steps ahead of potential breaches and attacks. So to talk a little bit about the solution, TC Complete is a security operations and analytics platform that combines all the features of a threat intelligence platform with security automation and orchestration. TC Complete is designed to give organizations the tools needed to gain visibility of potential threats while maximizing efficiency by automating security measures and data digestion from dozens of sources. Orchestrating security and analytics not only frees up time for IT administrators, but also builds confidence in their threat intelligence. TC Complete aims to provide an all-encompassing platform for your security team, to reduce mean time to detect and mean time to respond, and to make informed strategic decisions about your security strategy. It does this by combining data processing and organization with team workflow management tools and dynamic dashboards. So TC Complete is really designed to enable users to orchestrate threat response with custom, no coding required playbooks that can be integrated with your third-party tools. So we performed hands-on evaluation and testing that was designed to validate how TC Complete enables all this, how it enables you to identify, manage, and block threats. We had a little bit of an additional focus on the extensibility of the TC Complete platform as an enterprise platform designed to enable users to adapt and create automation for their processes. So I'll start with an organization's threat intelligence, as we all know, is really only as good as the sources it relies on. And TC Complete enables organizations to ingest all the intelligence feeds from both their own systems as well as open source and premium external feeds. So we began by looking at the multiple ways users can access and ingest threat feeds and how ThreatConnect leverages all this data to reduce the time it takes to detect threats. So setting up the ingest of a simple feed of indicators was really straightforward. We created a custom source feed with just a few clicks by selecting specific indicators within a source feed to be targeted. And next, after that, we used TC Complete's Threat Assess and Collective Analytics layer. Threat Assess uses an algorithm based on activity from subscribed source feeds around the indicator to give an easy-to-read threat score. Cal provides a lot more information, the most impressive being to find relevant threat intel on a singular indicator. Threat Assess uses an algorithm based on activity from subscribed source feeds around that indicator to give an easy-to-read threat score. And Cal provides a lot more information in addition to that, the most impressive being how many times this indicator has been seen in other infrastructures, investigated, or claimed as a false positive. So it was really easy to see how users can quickly draw conclusions around potential threats to find critical matches really in seconds, rather than spending hours manually reading a log or Googling IP addresses for results. So one of the things that impressed us was the speed at which TC Complete dissected the standard and custom sources. And that became much more evident when we integrated with a SIM, Security Incident and Event Manager like Splunk. So using the ThreatConnect application in Splunk base, we watched as threat intel was updated for users on a dashboard. The ThreatConnect app took indicator traffic from the user's firewall and redisplayed anything that flowed through Splunk recently. Over the span of an hour, 53 different matches were found, and each could be drilled down into for a detailed report in the event triage dashboard. So next, we examined how analysts can use TC Complete to protect against phishing emails, for example. We associated an email address with a received phishing message and then forwarded a sample message to that address. TC Complete extracted associated indicators originating from the email source. So on the screen, detailing compiled intelligence about the forward free Visual Studio inbox, we clicked the Update Analysis button to examine the entire email body. So as we clicked through the import, score, and indicator options, we ingested the email contents, confirmed the high threat rating, and discovered another potential malicious email address. TC Complete identified the malicious email by searching through its associated intelligence sources and found that the indicator already existed in the current TC platform. So the address was then saved so that this new data would be shared with other analysts to identify future threats. So next, we evaluated how an analyst could configure a threat to be tracked, monitored, and addressed via TC Complete. We evaluated the use case in which an analyst analyzes a report from a widely used intelligence source, in this case the FBI, and we began by creating a tracker for an individual threat. So using a public FBI bulletin, we entered the details such as the organization name associated with the tracker, summary title of the threat, description, and tags. We then clicked on the Save button to go to the next screen. And at that point, we extracted the associations or indicators for this threat. All we had to do was drag the file icon representing the FBI report onto the box below the upload heading. You can also manually enter text, but we were able to automatically take care of that with this. Once TC Complete had ingested the FBI report, detailed indicators, URLs, IP addresses, all that stuff appeared. This enabled us to compile all the necessary data that we needed into a tracker that we could use to assess the threat continuously moving forward. Finally, we took a look at the creation of playbooks for threat response automation. So I want to spend a little bit of time on this. Really what this amounted to was with just a few clicks, we were able to create a playbook to orchestrate a coordinated group of actions in response to a specific trigger. So in this case, the presence of a tag indicating open DNS block as seen here. So with ThreatConnect's playbooks, organizations can automate nearly any security operation or task in series or in parallel, invoking other tools and responding appropriately without any scripting or coding. And that's really important. I mean, this just allows you to completely automate all of your activities without having to spend a tremendous amount of time developing the algorithms and then deploying those scripts and keeping them updated. So another area that we explored was threat hunting, right? Which is really how analysts can use ThreatConnect to flag potential intrusions using the search function. So it's really worth noting here that this feature is available as part of TC Open, ThreatConnect's free offering as well. Clicking on the search icon at the top left and entering a URL, bad.com in this case, brought up a list of indicators that contained a match. The source of the data is listed in blue text, and TC Analyze automatically calculates an overall threat assess score to help the user assess the indicators relative to one another without any manual analysis. So the confidence rating communicated how likely it was that the threat might actually cause an issue. And so threat intelligence is essentially a relational data set, right? Hosts resolve to IP addresses. IP addresses are associated with adversaries. Adversaries perpetrate campaigns. So how the pieces of this puzzle fit together really is best provided visually. And the graph view seen here is available on the details page for every indicator, every group, and every tag. ThreatConnect offers several options to control how many and which type of nodes appear on the graph to essentially, to simplify the analysis process. So on the, on the left, the Trojan Heraplar, the orange circle, connects two separate incidents in our test environment, which is dark blue, by way of a series of file hashes, right, represented by the blue and orange lines. That view is expanded in the image on the right to identify patterns in campaigns outside of the direct influence of this particular event, but out in the wild. So, just to point out that really you can drill down and you can shift focus by just clicking on any particular connector or item or event that's displayed here. So it provides a good way to really get a big overview and also drill down as need be. So as part of this project, we also looked at TC Identify and TC Analyze. So these are two integral components of the ThreatConnect platform and are part of TC Complete, but also available as independent standalone options. So TC Identify offers a a threat intelligence platform that's built specifically to give customers access to really what amount to invaluable insights crafted by ThreatConnect's own research team, along with the activity and content created by other organizations that are already experiencing the benefits of its source library and the collective analytics layer, or CAL. The ability to shape and experience hones its features and reduces the time it takes IT teams to detect relevant potential threats. And what we validated in our testing was that TC Identify provides a thorough threat assessment experience for users, and it does that by giving them the right tools to dive deep while connecting them with a firmly established cybersecurity community. If your organization would like to move beyond simple threat detection and learn the story behind the activity in your environment and how that's interconnected, so you can make confident decisions on how to respond, of course, you should take a serious look at something like TC Identify. TC Analyze aims to enable centralized data enrichment and incident and task management. And it does that to provide context to threat intel data, enabling and recommending actions with defensive tools, helping organizations make faster, more informed security decisions. In our testing, TC Analyze demonstrated the ability to gather and enrich threat data from multiple security intelligence sources relevant to known threats, presenting ratings and scores that would enable analysts to prioritize their time based on threat severity. TC Analyze extracted key indicators from files like emails that identified a specific threat presence. TC Analyze also automatically shares its indicators to relevant tools and systems, which can enable various teams to collaborate on threat resolution. And in a nutshell, what we validated was that ThreatConnect's TC Analyze can help organizations overcome the cybersecurity skills gap with analytics and response capabilities while building in-house threat intelligence continuously. So for organizations that want to move beyond the capabilities of a legacy SIM platform and leverage threat intelligence throughout their environments, it would definitely be worthwhile to take a closer look at ThreatConnect's TC Analyze. So the big question is, why does all this matter, right? Well, compromise of intellectual property, customer information, financial data, it can really lead to serious consequences, including financial penalties, impact to brand, and company valuation and legal action. Businesses need the tools to monitor, filter, analyze, and act upon event, incident, and alert data coming from numerous sources, including devices and intelligence feeds, in order to identify what's really important, then address and remediate to prevent the spread of further harm. So TC Complete and its integral components, TC Analyze and TC Identify, parsed and extracted data from multiple security intelligence sources that were relevant to known threats, presenting ratings and scores to educate analysts on threat severity. Key indicators were extracted that notified us of a specific threat presence. The Splunk integration allows security analysts to view and analyze large amounts of data quickly and easily. We were impressed with the ability to create playbooks with just a few clicks. And playbooks were and are completely customizable and can be created and reconfigured on the fly to automate and orchestrate nearly any security operation or task with no coding required. So essentially, ESG validated that ThreatConnect's TC Complete Security Operations and Analytics platform helps organizations overcome the cybersecurity skills gap with end-to-end detection, analytics, response, and automation. And really, any organization that wants to move beyond the capabilities of legacy SIM platforms, as I said before, and leverage threat intelligence throughout their environment to orchestrate an intelligent, automated response, would really be smart to take a closer look at ThreatConnect's TC Complete. And so with that, I conclude the prepared portion of our presentation, and let's move on to see if anyone has any questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Tony. So we had a couple of questions come through, and I'll go ahead and read them over, and you can take some time to answer them. So First question that came through is, are these tools specifically for people with threat intel backgrounds, or is it also appropriate for people working more in the SOC and the IR?
So I'll give my opinion on that, but then if you want to elaborate on it, feel free. My opinion is the short answer to that is yes. Yes to all of the above. The tool has the depth and sophistication for that can be leveraged by a senior level security analyst, but it's also designed so that organizations that are let's just say less mature in their journey can leverage these tools and extract the value that they offer. So the automation capabilities, it's really ThreatConnect has been, as far as my opinion goes, very thoughtful about how they've crafted the tools to make sure that they are that there's an offering that fits really any level of maturity.
Great, thanks. Next question is, are the integrations available out of the box sufficient, or is there a lot of customization required to get up and running?
So based on the testing that we did, we didn't do any customization to get the system up and running. The integrations were all available that we used were all available out of the box, yeah, so it was very simple for us, having had no prior training, to get the system up and running and to do all the things that you saw in the presentation.
And Tony, this and everyone listening, this is Mary with ThreatConnect. I just want to chime in there. I think your point on the way you were using the product didn't require any additional integrations is a good one. It all depends on how you're using the product, what you're using it for, and what you intend to do with it. We do integrate with several hundred technology partners, though, and it's actually really customizable depending on how you intend to use the product and use the platform.
That's a great point. Thanks.
Sure.
Okay, great. So next question is, what's the value of having ThreatConnect if I already have a SIM doing log monitoring for me?
So I'll tell you what, Mary, why don't you, if you don't mind, give us your take on that, and then I'll chime in.
So, so ThreatConnect minimizes false positives versus SIMs that really log and record information. So what we do is we help analysts weed through the noise, and we make your SIM more effective. And it also essentially makes it more cost effective for the analysts that are doing the work.
Yeah.
You want to add to that, Tony?
Absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what we found, right? The fact is that with traditional SIMs and standalone products like that, really what you end up with is alert fatigue, right? I mean, you just get hundreds or thousands of alerts a day, and sorting through them and figuring out which is the most appropriate to take action on is a real challenge. And that's what ThreatConnect, one of the things that ThreatConnect does really well.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Last question we had come through, a pretty simple one. Is this a cloud-based software?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Is this a cloud-based software?
So, go ahead.
I think they're asking about the deployment. Is it cloud-based or on-prem?
Gotcha. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Please. Sorry.
No, why don't you take it, and then we can move on.
So it's available in 3 different deployment options. It's available on-prem, cloud, and private cloud. And I don't know, Tony, which one did you evaluate it? I know it depends on, the security requirements that are in any given customer's environment. I believe you did evaluate the cloud-based version, didn't you?
We did, and but from the way I understand it, it really isn't. It doesn't change the way that the user interacts with the product, right? It all is all very, it's all the same. It's just, as you said, depends on the individual client's requirements.
Correct.
Okay, great. So that is all the time we have for today. If anyone else has any further questions, we'll reach out to you via email. As I said earlier, this webinar was recorded, and we'll be sending out the final recording as soon as it's available. Thank you all for attending, and we hope to see you at the next ThreatConnect and ESG webinar.
Thanks very much.